Hey guys, you're watching Daniel and Gian Talk, and today we're going to be doing a full review of the 2014 feature film Highway, starring Alia, Bhatt and Randeep, Hooda. It deals with a lot of elements, but one of the major themes is Stockholm Syndrome. If you've already watched our trailer reaction, you already know that Daniel and I have differing opinions on the film.
I would disagree in what your assessment is. That it's a Stockholm Syndrome movie.
Wow.
Because I think that, and
it's
this,
one of the main elements.
And this, I don't agree, and I'll explain why. I think you're on the right track, but I think the movie presents one element that destroys that argument, which is actually what hurt the movie for me, and that's the whole uncle child molestation angle that she brings up in the film.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, complete agreement with you on that. I thought that was terrible. That was so bad. It was everything for me was going great in the film, and that was something that was just thrown in there. It was just kind of thrown in there, and then they brought it up at the end, and it was like, okay, it was like they're writing the script and they couldn't figure out a better reason.
They didn't need one. They had set one up already. That's why. So let me address the Stockholm Syndrome thing. So I think the movie was about her being so isolated and just controlled, and and then you find out the uncle stuff, that she just wanted out. She just wanted to escape. She just wanted to get somewhere else. That's why she wanted the husband or the fiance or whatever to like drive into the bad part of town and do all this stuff. And then she gets captured, and her instincts are like to run away or whatever. And then she realized, oh, this is actually fun. I like this stuff. But I think as the filmmaker, I think they're trying to say this is a girl who wanted to get out, and now she got out.
Yeah.
She falls in love with the person, which is where the Stockholm Syndrome comes in. But I don't think it was a tale about that.
And if you want to argue that it wasn't Stockholm Syndrome at all, I mean, did she really fall in love with him?
She did.
I don't know if she did, because they didn't really have any super overt romantic.
You mean they didn't fuck?
Well, none of that was even implied for the most part. It almost just seemed.
She cried when he got killed.
Well, she did, but that's because she deeply cared about this person. Because she listen, I think she was seeing something underneath the surface. Like even the rest of this gang members, when they find out he kidnapped her, or like had no respect for this guy, they think he's a fuck up. He's a fuck up.
That's true.
And then she sees the softer side to this guy and understands that he is the way he is because of how.
Yeah, over time, not initially, but over time.
No, but the longer she's riding next to him, and she starts picking up on the edges start to soften, and she sees this is a damaged, broken man. Because of whatever happened in his childhood, that's a big part of it, because he grew up in impoverished.
He also was molested or something. There was another angle where, with his mom or something.
Well, there was an element. There was a scene where he talks about how in the village, husbands would just sell their wives because
something like that. Yeah,
they were desperate. And then it was never confirmed, but I took that as his mom was one of those people where his dad.
Yeah. Okay, that's what it was. It was something like that. I don't remember specifically, But yeah, but then they add in the uncle part, and to me, that makes her broken. So at that point, I can't look at her as someone who's having fun now that she's away.
Right.
Because she's only having fun now because of her past trauma.
Right.
So for me, it changed the film entirely, which is why it's a weird thing where, did I hate the movie? No. But at the same time, because of the one fucking element in it, it changes her whole character dynamic.
Well, for me, what that did was make Randeep Hooda's character that much more interesting and made me want to see more of him than her.
Sure,
that's really what happened. And if I took anything from this, it was that. I would have rather seen more him because of how many layers his character seemed to have. When you threw that element on her, it simplified the shit out of her.
It did, and that was what was unfortunate.
His character still remained complex
the whole time.
And
when it's did he really? He didn't kill her. So did he deserve to get shot at the end? Probably, because he did kidnap her. But at the same time,
he killed 3 people too, and he
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And he was dealing with that himself, realizing that he took the lives of 3 people, and he knew that he could never go back.
Right. So it's not. But just I need to finish that point with her, because that's, for me, it was the biggest point of contention. Because every time she'd have fun, every time she'd laugh, and I'm just this is someone with immense trauma, So like I can't have fun with her. Like that was the biggest disconnect. She's the main character. I'm supposed to be living her life right now. I'm supposed to be like, oh yeah, look at her shitty life. Now look at it now. She's in the mountains of Pakistan or wherever she ended up being, Kashmir. I forget where they ended up going. Yeah, but then I don't, because it's like, you're fucked up. And it's unfortunate. I'm not.
But let me ask you something. Was that the molestation thing? Was your issue that they brought it up, or was your issue that they didn't develop it at all?
I think that it didn't need to be there at all.
Okay.
I think if you took that out of the movie, I would have been right there 100%. And the movie would have been the exact same. It would have not changed at all.
Well, and I think, and I agree with you on that, but at the same time, I feel like if that was something that you wanted to add in, you needed to develop it more, and you didn't. You just threw it out there.
But how would you even develop it? You'd have to focus. If the only way you could develop that, in my opinion,
well,
is
the
if
way
you
the film
focus at her
starts,
at home
she's
more.
like getting prepared for her wedding. She seems happy, whatever. There's a family party and shit. We need to see this brokenness at the very beginning of the film, not like someone who just feels. Like you said,
that's what I'm
she
saying.
felt trapped.
That's it. It was just.
It didn't need it. It didn't need it. And what I'm saying is, and I'm just trying to give the writer a pass here. Like, for some reason, they felt the need to add that in there.
What I will say,
and I don't know if it was an excuse so that you could justify why she felt like she acted the way she did with her kidnapper. If that's like you didn't believe in your script enough, where you thought you needed to add this element so that make other people believe, oh, okay, this is why she's acting this way with her kidnapper.
I don't know.
All you had to do, like you said, all you had to do was just talk about the lack of freedom she had.
You just say the same story and just not have that in there. But I will give the writer credit for one thing. He did complete it. He completed that whole. He brought it up. He set it up. Didn't really develop it, like you said, but they did complete it.
Yeah.
They did address it at the end. She did confront the uncle in front of the whole family, and that scene still was intense. It still was a little bit impactful.
And they ruined it with the ending. But anyways.
But it didn't need to be there though.
No.
That's the thing. I will give him credit though for at least instead of just throwing it out there and then forgetting about it.
Like I said from the beginning, it would have been a completely better movie had you not thrown that into the movie. It's
just
at all.
unnecessary.
And I'm just like, I really want to know why. I still want to know at the end of the day, why did you feel that you needed to do that? To toss that in there?
But because
that was that. If anything, that was almost like a film school moment. That's like, it feels like
to be edgy.
Yeah, like someone needed to throw this in there because they felt like
that's gonna make her character three-dimensional
or something. Yeah, like you felt like you didn't trust your character enough where you needed to add this element. And maybe it's because she was a woman character. Maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't want to say that it is, but it could be.
But see,
it could actually come down to not trusting your audience, which is always seems to be the case in a lot of these movies that we
It's true. But now I feel like we put the nail in the coffin on that one. I've expressed, my disdain. Like that's the only negative I have about the movie, because what was going on was not bad. What was going, it was actually pretty interesting to see. A melodrama didn't unfold. They didn't fall in love traditionally. They didn't fucking, they were just being young, really. They were being kids. She was great. She was phenomenal.
Her performance was great. His performance was great.
They were both great. I mean, there's a scene in the beginning before she kind of realizes like, oh, I'm going to have fun with this, where that creeper guy, he's like, oh, I'm going to come for you, protect you, whatever.
The guy that was eventually, I knew his angle the whole time.
Well, of course.
He's going to try to rape her.
Exactly, which is, but like there's.
And I'm glad that it didn't happen.
Of course,
because at a certain point that would have been too much.
That's what I'm saying. The movie subverted all your expectations, what you would expect in a normal film about a kidnapping, which is what I enjoyed about it, which is what I liked about it.
I mean, even the ending, like he died, which I was like, yes. Finally, somebody had the balls to do it,
Yeah, they didn't live happily ever after.
No, they killed.
She did.
Well, she did. And I was actually disappointed that she didn't die as well.
Like a Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah, like either kill herself.
But wouldn't that have been an expectation?
It would have been an expectation, but the ending I got was worse,
That she, moved to where
they were. She moved to the mountains, but her fucking dad, her dad bankrolled her business up there, so she's just living rich, still living off her parents' money, but now she's outdoors and happy because I'm living in the mountains now. I didn't accomplish anything in my fucking life.
She has a flashback of, like a premonition of her and him as kids.
Yeah, exactly, playing in the mountains.
Which is...
Yeah, it was just like, come on, guys. Like that...
But he did die. He did get shot.
He did die.
And you didn't expect it either.
No.
I'm like, oh, cool.
Well,
I mean, I kind of expected it.
I didn't expect him to die because Salman.
I didn't expect it to end well.
Salman didn't die in Bajrangi Bhaijaan, so I figured something like that was gonna happen. He's
gonna throw her up in the air.
Yeah, or
on a freeze frame.
Or well, he's gonna fall into the river and then come back to life.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's right. Didn't that happen in the movie? Yeah, right.
It happened in Bajrangi Bhaijaan, and so he
got shot.
I half expected something like that. Like maybe they would live happily ever after. Like we're gonna check in later, and they're like in another country living together as outlaws.
And he has a beard
or something.
now.
Maybe it was gonna be like like she was gonna grab the gun and be like, "Stay away!" Pull a Sarat, but like not die, not get chopped to death by. Still, that's the most. That was the most unexpected ending so far of any Indian film I've seen.
Of any film.
Spoiler
almost
alert.
Any film,
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
I mean, I didn't, exactly.
Yeah, that was something I'd see in a French film or something, I feel like.
Even then, you're like, that's the most ballsy ending to any movie, Sairat. If you haven't seen it, highly, highly recommend it. The fact that it subverted so many expectations was really refreshing. It was nice. It was just unfortunate that I keep bringing it up. But it sucks that I keep bringing it up. But that thing
came like halfway through the movie too. It wasn't at the very beginning.
No, I know, and I was involved in the story before, because like it was a little weird that for me when she ran out in the desert and then she came back, that was a little bit weird to me. And the reason why I bring that up, there's another movie that deals with this similar scenario about it's not exactly the same, but a movie called Wind River. And the movie opens up with this Native American girl, and she's running through the snow, and then she dies. We have no idea why she dies. You eventually find out that some stuff. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but she ran for like 6 miles in the snow, and then her lungs like exploded.
Absolutely,
basically, is what happened. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, obviously, I'm not a woman. I've never been kidnapped, so I don't know what the fuck I would do. But I would assume that you would just keep going. I don't know if you'd want to run back. That would be my thing.
Yeah, I saw that, but then it was also kind of like he was like, "Let her go."
No, I got that was the point because he knew she was going to come back.
Exactly.
She had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
She doesn't know where the fuck they're at.
My issue with that was like, why didn't you follow the train tracks? Why did you just run into the desert? I would have there were train tracks. I would have been running alongside the train
because at some point you're gonna
run into something. Yeah, not just into like the expanse of whatever desert they were at.
But I don't, but even then, whatever. Like those are the little moments at the beginning where I was like a little bit weird. Like I thought it was funny when they carjacked the guy's car and he's like, "I told you!" And he's yelling at her.
Well, this wasn't a planned kidnapping.
No,
either.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
and that was something.
He's not concerned about anything else other than telling her.
And you could tell, like, he seemed like that was like a foreshadowing of what was to come. Like the guy, he didn't really care about her. It was,
he cared about the fact that man, now you're gonna get kidnapped, and you're gonna ruin my day.
And it was like he wasn't even happy to come and pick her up. It was just like an obvious arranged marriage. Which
is sad because I think Alia Bhatt's a hottie.
She's pretty, yeah.
She's pretty hot, and she's talented too. And she had these weird moments where she was like laughing at herself, and like that was making me think, man, she's psychologically fucked up. Like that's kind of what, and maybe that was the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not giving the writer enough credit for taking that chance and saying, you know what, my character is fucked up because some of the characters are fucked up, and this is her story, and I'm gonna stick to it.
And it goes back to not developing that part. That's if you're gonna do that, you got to do a better job.
I just don't know how you would develop it though, based on the circumstances that are set up.
I mean, maybe like not introduce the uncle at the very end of the film, maybe not bring up.
But it would be a lot of setup at the beginning of her at home.
And that's fine. I mean, I think you could have.
That's true.
I think you could have
been a longer movie though.
One scene, maybe a 5-minute scene of her having some awkward interaction with this guy. And we're wondering why was that? That's kind of fucking weird.
I don't know. I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't think that's enough.
Well, we don't know.
It sounds weird for me to say. It sounds weird for me to say as if I need more.
Yeah.
But it was almost. I don't know.
That would have made things pay off if you're going to use that. Either scrap it completely, but if your movie was about people with like issues, psychological issues, and then they kind of connect from that through a traumatic experience, be it a kidnapping, which is Stockholm Syndrome. You start caring for the person that kidnapped you because of the trauma involved in it,
Which is why I'm not necessarily disagreeing with your original assessment. I just think because of all the things they set up, it's not a traditional Stockholm syndrome, which I don't know if that would even make sense. I don't know if there is a traditional.
It's not traditional in the sense because you have all this happy music playing in these montage sequences.
They're dancing.
Yeah, they're dancing. They're singing and shit. Like she's smiling 95% of the time. You know,
but what do
you don't really see an actual psychological breakdown until the end when he dies.
When he
dies, she's in the hospital and they like keep like doping her up.
So do you think that was just them being young and dumb, or her being young and dumb? Like why? Because the one thing that bothered me throughout the whole movie is why did he fall for her?
Because he wasn't a bad person.
Yeah, I know, but he went through with it. I think
and he tried to let her go and she wouldn't go.
But not right away, though. That's the thing. So for me, I think it takes a certain type of person to kidnap someone. Now, I'm not in a country where kidnapping is like more common. I'm not saying India, but I know there's other countries, especially in like South America, where kidnapping is very commonplace to the point where you pay the ransom, you'll live, you're not going to worry about dying.
Get kidnapped in 3 weeks.
And the cops won't even arrest the people. They'll just let them go. So kidnapping is a part of life for some people. I don't know how it is in India. You can let us know in the comments. But I do think it takes a certain type of person to kidnap somebody.
Here's my retort to that. Okay.
A gun-wielding person, too.
This wasn't a traditional kidnapping.
It wasn't.
This was some sort of...
It was a mistake.
It was a bank robbery or something gone wrong, and they grabbed her
as a hostage.
And because they needed a getaway vehicle.
Absolutely.
That's all that was. And then he takes them to the gang's house, and the gang's house is like, what the fuck did you do?
Let her go. She's the daughter of such and such.
Yeah, and he's like...
Fuck you, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It turned into something completely different. It was never what he,
I'll buy that.
Not to mention that multiple times he talked about like this whole the rich people and their abuse of power and stuff. And for him, it felt like it was like a political thing for him at that point now. Like these rich people, whatever.
I'm going to show them.
Yeah, exactly. They don't care about us.
I'll buy that.
I'll
buy that because I did forget that it wasn't a real kidnapping.
Right.
It was, but it wasn't.
It wasn't planned.
Now, I'm surprised they didn't kill her, though, when they brought her in the field. Like, when they first took the car, and then all the gangsters were... Like, I'm surprised they didn't just pop her off, and then just... Because she's a witness.
Well, they knew who she was immediately.
You think that's what it was?
And I think part of it was, like... Yeah, because...
Well, the car she was driving...
Well, look, like, in the middle of the movie, and maybe we could talk about the odd way how they shot that, but in the middle of the movie, you get this... all the guys that were in that room get interrogated immediately.
The snitches, they all went and snitched?
Well, yeah, they snitched, but like the cops knew where to go to go and talk to these guys. So that's, we don't want to have anything to do with this. That's your problem. We didn't see her, whatever, get her out of here. You get the fuck out of here. Don't talk to us. We want nothing to do with this.
Because they probably knew they were going to get fucked
right,
with
exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting about the movie. Those are the things I liked. I like that the kidnappers were like, they went in snitch mode. Like the creeper guy went and snitched and like, yeah, I know what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's what I'm saying. I like the little elements. I like how she followed, like that bus scene. That was nice. It's just, I don't know. Or when they were in the mountains, the cinematography was great. I mean, we're not even talking about the technical, because you mentioned before we started rolling about the backgrounds, the scenery, the mountains. You start in like an isolated small room, and then you end up in a vast open area. That's complete contrast from beginning to end. You mentioned that before we started, and that's true. It's 100% true. But just the snow, I don't know, just the way. The costume, just everything was just, for me, it was on point.
It was tight.
It was a well-made movie.
Yeah.
It was short. It was to the point. I have my little ups and downs, but, editing was good. Performances were good. Directing was good. I mean, it was an all-around good movie.
I'd definitely like to see something. I don't think we've watched any movies from MTS.
I'm gonna look it up.
We've reacted to some of his trailers, but I'm not sure if we reviewed any of the rest of his films.
He did Rockstar, which the movie that we thought looked really dumb.
It's also because of who the star of that movie is.
Jab We Met, Rockstar, Jab Harry Met Sajal, and then Tamasha. I don't know if we.
You haven't watched any of those.
Yeah, no, we didn't watch it. But yeah,
We've actually roasted every single one of those trailers.
We did. And we would have roasted Highway had we not watched the movie before we reviewed the trailer. Because, and let's talk about the trailer for a second, because the trailer did not give any indications that this movie was going to be traditional from the beginning.
Right.
It kind of let the audience know she's going to get kidnapped and she's going to have a grand old time because of the music, because of all this stuff, which is kind of what made me affirm my belief that the movie wasn't about someone who's fucked up psychologically.
Yeah.
It was just about her escaping and having a new life.
Exactly.
But what do you think about that?
Like I said, I think I said it in the reaction, but I feel like the reason why they did the trailer that way is because
What'll get people in the seats?
Exactly. They need to make sure
the money
they sold it. Like, the movie itself too. Like, if it was about deep psychological scarring, people might not have come out to watch it.
It's true.
It's a tough subject matter, and from what we know, people work 6 days a week, and they get free time. They want to just relax and turn their brain off.
Yep, and you don't want to. I mean, some people do. They want to delve deep into that.
Yeah.
But that's why we have Netflix now. So
Right.
now you
Absolutely.
can just do that
you
with
can
Netflix.
Just binge whenever.
But, overall, I think, what would you rate the movie? Take into mind, like, on a technical level.
On a technical level, it was great. I think just the little elements of the story knock it down a few points for me. But I still give it, I want to say, a 7.5,
Yeah, I can swallow that.
I still enjoyed the movie for the most part. Like, I didn't let that pretty major element in the film
Bother you that much?
Ruin it for me because of all the other good stuff that was going on, because the performances were so strong and the chemistry that both of the actors had together as well.
Fair enough. So for me, I have to give this movie 2 ratings. Unfortunately, I do. As a movie, it's like a 4 or 5, because that's how bad that's how much that shit bothered me the whole time.
That's fair.
I can't pretend like
I don't even think you need to give it another second rating.
Well, no, but you eliminate that portion and you analyze the film for what it was, the beat to beat, the overall story minus that pit that I keep, beating it to death. There's a lot of shit going on that's really good. There's a lot of things that I would have expected to play out differently in a Indian film, period. Well, just any film, period. Because this is kind of like an indie film, but it's not your traditional indie film, in my opinion. So, those elements are welcome, and I appreciate them. And those are things that you would want to incorporate in your movie, so you don't, set your audience to think that you're just going to do cliche stuff. This movie, there wasn't a lot of cliche moments. I'll give this film credit. So, on that rating, it's like an 8. On the filmmaking, directing, and all that stuff, solid 8. But because of that fucking element, I even texted you when I was watching it, like, this movie's putting me to sleep.
Right.
And the reason why it was putting me to sleep is because I was just so
uninterested.
uninterested.
You checked out.
I was so uninterested in watching her be happy, be joyous, knowing what they had already, but like I said, you analyze scene to scene, you look at the way they shot certain things, you look at
this happens sometimes too. There's a lot of movies out there where if we just look at, if I were teaching a class and I just showed scenes from a certain movie,
you'd be like, I want to watch this fucking movie.
But then when you watch it together as a whole,
what?
you're like, this was a turd.
Yeah, so
it happens.
But overall, I'm glad I watched it though. Hands down, I don't regret it at all. It actually made me interested to watch Kahani, which I know is not related to this, but it's kind of similar. I feel like it might be similar tonally, or maybe a more serious version of this. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think
they jump right into the molestation.
No. Yeah, they don't hold any punches.
I think it was a good experience because it was definitely different.
It was refreshing.
It was a
refreshing
for sure.
experience.
Like at first, we talked about what movie we were going to review next, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this one. And to be full disclosure,
you didn't want to do this.
I didn't want to do it at all. Full disclosure. All we did was type a name in on Netflix to see what came up, and that was one of the top. Because what movie were we trying to find on Netflix that they just pulled down? There was another movie.
The spy movie that came out last year.
Oh, the one where she goes into Pakistan as a spy.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to look for, that movie, and instead of looking for the name of the movie, we just typed in Alia Bhatt, and then I said, oh, we could do Highway instead since they took it off, and then
Yeah.
That's where we ended up. We don't regret it though. Next week we're gonna be doing Ratsasan. That's our next movie review.
Better not suck, guys.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm not concerned about it sucking or not. I'm concerned about people watching the review.
Fair
Because
enough.
it's a Tamil film, and well,
It's not Bahubali.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah. Or 2.0. So
Yeah, no Rajinikanth in this one. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Smash that like button, leave comments, let us know what you think. We will see you next time.